Hello there, you're watching Nightline with me, Muhammed, Ahmad, Hamdan. News making the headlines. 3 cornered fights for both Pulai and Simpang Jeram by-elections. And Home Ministry refutes claims of granting citizenship to foreigners. Good morning. We begin with this headlining story. Both the by-elections for the Pulai Parliamentary Constituency and the Simpang Jeram State seat will feature a 3-cornered contest on September 9th. In addition to the contenders put forth by Pakatan Harapan PH and Perikatan Nasional PN, 2 independent candidates have also joined the electoral fray. The returning officer of the Election Commission, EC, on Saturday announced the approval of nomination documents for the Pulai seat at the Dewan Jubli Intan Nomination Centre. The accepted candidates were Suhaizan Kayat from PH, Zulkifli Jaafar from PN, and the independent candidate Samsudin Fauzi. Earlier, Suhaizan, accompanied by his proposer and seconder, filed his nomination papers at the nomination centre at about 9:02 a.m, followed by Zulkifli 2 minutes later and Samsudin at 9:08 a.m. Based on the EC's electoral rolls, the Pulai constituency has 166,653 voters, comprising 165,700 ordinary voters, 927 from among police personnel and their spouses, and 26 absent voters who are overseas. Similarly, the Simpang Jeram by-election is also set to be a 3-cornered fight between Pakatan Harapan's Nazri Abdul Rahman, Perikatan Nasional's Dr. Muhammad Mazri Yahya, and independent candidate S. Jagannathan. Election Commission EC returning officer Jamil Hasni Abdullah said he received and accepted the nominations of the 3 candidates at 10:13 a.m. Earlier, Dr. Mazri submitted his nomination papers at 9:04 a.m, followed by Nazri at 9:08 a.m. and Jagannathan at 9:18 a.m. Based on the EC's electoral rolls, the Simpang Jeram seat has 40,379 electors, comprising 40,373 ordinary voters and 6 absent voters who are overseas. The EC has fixed a 14-day campaign period from after nominations until 11:59 p.m. on September 8th, with early voting on September 5th and polling on September 9th. The vacancies in both seats emerged following the passing of Domestic Trade and Cost of Living Minister Datuk Seri Salahuddin Ayub on July 23rd. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Ahmad Zahid Hamidi said a victory in the Simpang Jeram and Pulai by-elections is important to maintain Johor as a fixed deposit for the unity government. The Barisan Nasional BN chairman added retaining both seats will also ensure the welfare of various races in the state continues to be protected.
Kerana negeri Johor adalah simpanan tetap kepada Kerajaan Perpaduan, saya minta jentera UMNO, jentera BN seluruh negeri Johor di Pulai atau di Simpang Jeram ini pastikan Johor sebagai fixed deposit simpanan tetap politik Kerajaan Perpaduan harus dipertahankan.
Speaking at a meeting with BN Simpang Jeram Machinery on Saturday, Datuk Seri Ahmad Zahid, who is also UMNO President, said a win for Amanah's candidate Nazri Abdul Rahman, representing the PH-BN coalition, is necessary to start PAS from establishing a foothold in the state, which is now led by BN. Also present were Menteri Besar Dato' On Hafiz Ghazi, Johor UMNO Liaison Committee Chairman Datuk Seri Muhammad Khalid Nordin and Nazri. In the last Johor state election, BN recorded a big win by obtaining a simple majority with 40 seats, while PN has 3 seats and PH has 10 seats. In the meantime, Johor Police Chief has reminded all candidates, supporters and leaders of political parties involved in the by-elections to comply with all the rules and regulations during campaigning. Datuk Kamarul Zaman Mamat said this includes applying for a permit to hold their ceramah or political talks and not to touch on the 3 Rs, consisting of religion, royalty and race issues.
Jangan sesekali kita menyentuh kalau tempoh berkempen ini berkaitan dengan perkara yang berkaitan dengan 3R. Tolong kerana repercussion dia ataupun akibatnya kita telah lihat dari beberapa pilihan raya yang lepas, dan saya memberi nasihat dan amaran supaya kali ini tidak berulang di Pulai dan juga di Simpang Jeram.
Dato' Kamarul Zaman was speaking to reporters when met at the nomination centre for the Pulai parliamentary by-election at Dewan Jubli Intan Sultan Ibrahim. He noted that the nomination process for the Pulai parliamentary and the Simpang Jeram state by-elections on Saturday morning went smoothly and without any untoward incidents reported. The situation at both nomination centres at Dewan Jubli Intan Sultan Ibrahim and in Muar were also reported to be calm and under control, despite thousands of supporters from the contesting parties gathering in the area. Meanwhile, the Malaysian Anti-Corruption Commission MACC has opened 2 operations rooms in Johor for the public to channel information and complaints related to corruption and abuse of power for the Pulai parliamentary and Simpang Jeram by-elections. The MACC in a statement said that the operation rooms will run around the clock until September 9th. The public can contact these operation rooms via phone or email to channel complaints or information. The Commission also issued a reminder for candidates and political parties not to violate election laws and regulations in accordance with the MACC Act 2009 and the Election Offences Act 1954. Home Minister has dismissed allegations that his ministry is in the process of granting Malaysian citizenship on a large scale to foreigners, especially from China. Dato' Sri Saifuddin Nasution Ismail described them as terrible accusations without a sense of responsibility, which had an impact on the ministry's efforts to resolve the current citizenship application issue. He urged that the ministry be given space to resolve the issue of the future of children from Malaysian families whose marriage registration process has not been done accordingly. He added that if the data related to the granting of citizenship is twisted and disseminated, it could give a negative perception of his ministry's efforts to resolve citizenship issues, including many which were caused by delays in marriage registration. He said this to reporters after presenting a donation for the purchase of a hearse to Al-Raudah Mosque, Sungai Durian in Pokok Sena on Saturday. Commenting further, Dato' Sri Saifuddin said that there were more than 140,000 citizenship applications received by his ministry, of which 9,000 had been processed, including applications that had been approved. Previously, the National Registration Department was reported to have denied claims that about 54,000 Chinese nationals are in the process of being granted Malaysian citizenship, supposedly to become voters. Moving on, Malaysian companies are poised to participate in infrastructure projects for the reconstruction of Iraq. Foreign Minister Dato' Sri Zamri Abdul Kadir said this on Saturday, affirming Malaysia's preparedness to explore all avenues and opportunities to bolster the volume of trade and investment between the two nations. According to Dato' Sri Zamri, Malaysia will also look into expanding exports of furniture, pharmaceutical products, electrical and electronic goods, as well as commodities to Iraq. In a video message shared by Wisma Putra, he said the matter was discussed with the country's leaders during his official visit to Iraq, which started last Wednesday and ended on Friday.
Dalam bidang pelaburan, kerajaan Iraq telah mengalu-alukan kehadiran syarikat-syarikat dari Malaysia untuk melaksanakan projek-projek infrastruktur bagi pembangunan semula Iraq. Saya turut membincangkan tentang status pengoperasian Petronas di Iraq serta peluang yang lebih meluas dalam sektor tenaga.
The minister added that the effort was made in line with Malaysia's decision to reopen the embassy operations in Baghdad after being closed for the past 2 decades, thus opening up more opportunities for new cooperation between the two countries. Dato' Sri Zamri's official visit to Iraq was on the invitation of his counterpart, Dr. Fuad Hussein, and was the first ministerial visit from Malaysia since the outbreak of political unrest in the country back in 2003. He also said the visit was the beginning for Malaysia to play a role as a proactive country in international relations, especially in West Asia, in addition to the active diplomacy mission founded by Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim to enable Malaysia to return to the international scene in facing and dealing with global issues. He further said that the Joint Commission meeting JCM between Malaysia and Iraq, which has been delayed since 2005, will also be held again soon. The minimum wage of 1,500 ringgit will be maintained when the progressive wage system is introduced by the government next year. Human Resources Minister V. Sivakumar said on Saturday that the progressive wage system needs to be implemented in tandem with the minimum wage and to increase the productivity of workers so that it will benefit employers as well. Sivakumar pointed out that the National Economic Action Council (NEAC) meeting chaired by Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim to detail the policy guidelines had stipulated that the implementation of the progressive wage system was not mandatory for all private employers. Therefore, for the initial stage, the government will let employers decide whether they want to use the progressive wage system or not. He added that in time, employers will gradually realise the need to implement progressive wages. Sivakumar also said that his ministry will look into a proposal for legislation to require salary scales to be stated in job advertisements. On Thursday, Economy Minister Rafizi Ramli said the progressive wage system policy had been approved at the cabinet level and the details would be tabled in the 2024 budget in October, with its expected implementation in April or May next year. Moving on, police have summoned more than 10 people to obtain their statements on the plane crash near Bandar Elmina in Selangor on August 17th. Selangor Police Chief Dr. Hussein Omar Khan said the individuals included those who recorded videos of the crash, which went viral, as well as representatives from the airline operator and the Civil Aviation Authority of Malaysia.
Kita ongoing, saya rasa kita dah rakam berbelas saksi lah, termasuk yang ada recording sebagainya yang boleh bantu siasatan kita lah.
He added the authorities are now awaiting for developments on the investigation from the Air Accident Investigation Bureau. Dr. Hussein was speaking to the media when met at the PDRM Selangor Merdeka Ride and Carnival program at Tapak Carnival Shah Alam Stadium. The plane crash on the Guthrie Highway near Bandar Elmina killed 10 individuals, including Pahang Local Government Housing, Environment and Green Technology Committee Chairman Datuk Sri Johari Harun. The victims comprised 6 passengers and 2 crew members of the light aircraft, and the other 2 were civilians, a motorcyclist and a motorist who were passing through the area at the time of the incident. In the meantime, the families of the 2 victims who died in the plane crash in Bandar Elmina Shah Alam last week received a personal donation from Prime Minister Datuk Seri Anwar Ibrahim. In a Facebook posting on Saturday, Datuk Seri Anwar said he shared their sorrow and prayed that the families are given strength and fortitude to weather this monumental challenge. His contributions were presented by the Prime Minister's political secretary, Ahmad Farhan Fauzi, on Friday while visiting the next of kin of the late Idris Abdul Talib at Kampung Ketari, Bentong. Idris was a special officer to Pelangai State Assemblyman Datuk Sri Johari Harun, who also perished in the incident. Ahmad Farhan also visited and delivered the donation to the family of the late Khairil Azwan Jamaluddin, another passenger of the ill-fated flight in Felda Mempaga 1 Kara. Madagascar Stampede kills dozens. This and more from the foreign front when Nightline returns. onto the foreign front. Japan's fisheries agency on Saturday said fish tested in waters around the wrecked Fukushima nuclear plant did not contain detectable levels of the radioactive isotope tritium. The agency plans to announce the test results daily. It is also reported that as of Friday, seawater near the plant contained less than 10 becquerels of tritium per litre, below its self-imposed limit of 700 becquerels and far below the World Health Organization's limit of 10,000 becquerels for drinking water. After lengthy debate, the government of Prime Minister Fumio Kishida decided on Tuesday to allow the release of 1.3 million tonnes of treated water from the Fukushima plant, destroyed by a 2011 tsunami, because TEPCO was running out of storage space. This has since angered fishermen and many others in the country, alarming consumers in neighbouring countries, as well as prompting China to ban Japanese aquatic products. At least 13 people have been killed, while 80 others injured following a stampede of sport fans trying to enter Madagascar's national stadium for the opening ceremony of the Indian Ocean Island Games. The stampede occurred at the entrance of the Beria Stadium late on Friday, where a crowd of about 50,000 spectators had arrived to attend the event. Communications manager with the Red Cross, Ansa Mirado, said there were a lot of people at the entrance, which could have triggered the stampede. However, investigations are currently ongoing, with the Red Cross adding that the death toll could climb. The Indian Ocean Island Games are a multidisciplinary competition being held in Madagascar and have been staged every 4 years in different islands in the southwest Indian Ocean for around 40 years. Over in India, at least 9 people were killed on Saturday after a train coach caught fire when a passenger tried to make tea. The coach, which had been detached from the train, was stationed at the Madurai railway yard in the southern state of Tamil Nadu when the fire broke out at 5:15 a.m. local time. Railway sources said fire service personnel were alerted immediately, and the fire was put out 2 hours later. Preliminary investigation revealed that the passengers had illegally smuggled aboard a gas cylinder, which exploded when they tried to use it. Authorities also reported that 3 of the 9 victims were women, but none of the bodies had been identified so far. 9 others sustained non-life-threatening injuries following the incident. Russian President Vladimir Putin on Friday signed a decree requiring all mercenaries to swear allegiance to Russia, a revelation that comes on the heels of Wagner boss Yevgeny Prigozhin's reported death. The decree, published on the Kremlin website, obliges anyone carrying out work on behalf of the military or supporting its special military operation in Ukraine to swear a formal oath of allegiance to Russia. According to local media, fighters must pledge their loyalty to the Russian Federation, strictly follow their commanders' and superiors' orders, and conscientiously fulfill their obligations. Meanwhile, Russia said 10 bodies and flight recorders have been recovered from the scene of the jet crash. The authorities were carrying out molecular genetic tests to identify the victims. Director of the British Museum, Hardwick Fisher, has resigned on Friday after admitting to failings in the museum's investigation into the theft of items from its collection. According to the museum's chairman, George Osborne, about 2,000 items are thought to have been stolen from the British Museum. The items involved dated from the 15th century BC to the 19th century AD and had been kept primarily for academic and research purposes. However, some of the missing treasures have started to be recovered. Osborne also accepted the museum's reputation to have suffered, but said it is a mess they are going to clear up, and that a staff member the museum suspects of involvement has been sacked. The museum, one of the UK's most prestigious cultural institutions, has been under pressure since revealing earlier this month that a number of treasures were reported missing, stolen or damaged. JDT defends league title. Sports when we come back. Sports football, the 2023 Super League. 3 more matches were played on Saturday night. Kuching City suffered another defeat, this time 2-0 to Terengganu FC, while Sabah FC beat Negeri Sembilan FC 3-1. In Alor Star, Johor Darul Takzim nothing but sealed the title despite being held to a 3-3 draw by Kedah Darul Aman FC. KDA looks set for a shocking victory when they found themselves 2 goals ahead after 50 minutes through Ifadaya Olusegun and Maniot. JDT, however, needed only 4 minutes to equalise. Corbin Ong scored in the 52nd minute before Aberti made it 2-2 4 minutes later. Muhammad Arif Aiman Hanapi then gave JDT the lead in the 74th minute, just for Amirbek Juraboev to salvage a point in the dying minutes for a 3-3 final scoreline. With the draw, JDT stood at the top of the standings with 61 points, 12 points above second place Selangor FC, with only 4 matches left to play. More after the break. Death of a man, 4 men remanded. continues. 4 men have been remanded for 7 days until September 1st by the Kota Bharu Magistrates Court to assist police investigations into the death of an unemployed man suspected to be a burglar. All 4 in their 30s to 50s, including a house owner, are being investigated under the Penal Code for murder. According to Kota Bharu District Police Chief ACP Muhammad the men were detained after the suspected burglar in his 30s died on Thursday night while undergoing treatment at University Science Malaysia Hospital in Kubang Krian. He had sustained injuries to his face and on his head after being caught by villagers while trying to break into a house in Kampung Beluka, Tapang on August 20th. In the 3 a.m. incident, the suspect, who had records for crime and drug-related offences, had allegedly acted aggressively while using a knife, and a scuffle ensued between him and the owner of the house, as well as several other men. The suspect was then overpowered and handed over to police. Also in Kelantan, an 8-year-old boy suffered bleeding from both ears and soft tissue injuries on his face after he was reportedly slapped several times by a teacher at his school last Wednesday. The child's father, Khairul Ashraf Razali, aged 33, said he became aware of the incident when he picked up his son Arshad from school as both sides of the boy's cheeks appeared swollen. According to Arshad, the teacher had come looking for him in the classroom in the morning as the students were getting ready to take the mid-year exam. The incident is believed to have occurred after another student, who is the child of the teacher involved and also Arshad's classmate, had complained about a fight they had a day before the incident. After undergoing examination and treatment at University Science Malaysia Hospital in Kubang Krian, Arshad was admitted to the ward for 2 days. Khairul Ashraf said he regrets the slow action taken by the teachers and the school in informing them about the incident. Meanwhile, Kota Bharu Police Chief ACP Muhammad confirmed that police had received a report regarding the case and that further investigations were underway. Includes Nightline this time around. Let's take a look as swimmers took on the waterways of Copenhagen at sunset to complete a 2-kilometer course through the city centre. With that, I'm Muhammed. Hamdan. Thanks for watching and take care.